My friends, today I want to speak to you about something that is of utmost importance, something that touches the very core of our walk with God. If you are chosen by God, if His hand is upon your life, then you must understand that not everything is meant to be shared with the world. There are things that God has placed within you, visions, dreams, purposes, that are sacred, and if you are not careful, revealing them too soon or to the wrong people can hinder the very work He is doing in you. There was a man in the Bible named Joseph. God gave him a vision of greatness, a destiny beyond his years, but Joseph made a mistake. He shared that vision with his brothers, and instead of celebrating with him, they despised him. They betrayed him. They sold him into slavery. Not everyone will rejoice in what God has spoken over your life. Not everyone will understand what God is doing in you. And so the first thing you must guard is the vision God has placed in your heart. Let it grow, let it mature, let it come to pass in God's timing and not be trampled by those who do not believe. Secondly, be careful with your struggles. Every believer faces trials, temptations, and battles in secret. The enemy wants you to expose your weaknesses to those who have no spiritual wisdom to guide you. When you lay your struggles before people who do not walk with God, they may mock you, they may use it against you, or they may lead you further into the darkness. Instead, bring your burdens before the Lord. He is your strength, your fortress, your deliverer in times of trouble. And then, my friends, be mindful of your good deeds. Jesus said, "Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing." The world teaches us to seek recognition, to be praised by men, but the Lord calls us to humility. When you give, when you serve, when you love, do it in secret, and your Father in heaven will reward you openly. Do not trade heavenly treasures for earthly applause. There is something else you must keep guarded: your plans. Too often we speak too soon, we share too much, and in doing so we invite unnecessary opposition. Nehemiah was given a mission to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, but he did not reveal his plan to anyone at first. He prayed, he waited, he moved in God's timing. If you share your plans before they are established, the enemy will try to derail them before they even begin. Walk in wisdom. Finally, do not reveal the deep secrets of your relationship with God to those who do not seek Him. There are moments in your life when God will speak to you, guide you, reveal things to you that are meant for you alone. The world does not understand the ways of the Spirit. They will question, they will doubt, they will ridicule what they cannot comprehend. But the secret things belong to the Lord, and to those who fear Him, He reveals His covenant. My friends, we live in a world that is quick to speak but slow to listen. A world that values publicity over privacy, applause over authenticity. But the chosen ones of God must be different. Walk in wisdom, walk in faith, walk in the confidence that He who began a good work in you will bring it to completion. And trust that what God has spoken in secret will be revealed in its time. Not everyone will understand or support the calling God has placed on your life. When God chooses you for something great, He often reveals a vision, a purpose, or a dream that is meant to shape your destiny. But one of the greatest mistakes we can make is sharing that vision too soon or with the wrong people. We live in a world where people are quick to judge, quick to criticize, and quick to discourage what they do not understand. That is why when God speaks to you, when He places something deep in your heart, you must guard it with wisdom. Look at the life of Joseph. He was just a young man when God gave him a dream of leadership, of ruling, of standing in a place of great authority. But Joseph, in his excitement, ran to his brothers and shared his dream with them. Instead of rejoicing, they despised him. They were filled with jealousy, and that jealousy turned into hatred. They conspired against him, threw him into a pit, and eventually sold him into slavery. Now, did Joseph's dream come to pass? Yes, it did. But his journey was marked by pain, betrayal, and suffering, partly because he revealed what God was doing in his life before the right time. Many of us make the same mistake. When God speaks to us, we rush to tell people, hoping they will support us, hoping they will understand, hoping they will celebrate what God is doing. But the truth is, not everyone is meant to hear what God has spoken over your life. God has spoken over your life by the hand. Some people will discourage you, some will doubt you, and some will actively work against you. The enemy is always looking for ways to disrupt God's plans, and one of the easiest ways he does that is by using the people around us to plant seeds of doubt and fear. Think of Nehemiah. He was called to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. It was a great mission, a God-given task. But Nehemiah did not rush to announce his plans to everyone. He moved in silence. He surveyed the city at night, seeking God's direction before revealing his intentions. And because he was wise, because he did not expose the vision too soon, he was able to complete the work despite opposition. Jesus himself understood this principle. There were times when he performed miracles and told people not to speak of them. There were moments when he withdrew from crowds to pray in secret. Even when he spoke to his disciples, he often revealed things to them that he did not share with the world. Why? Because there is a time for everything. There is a season for revelation and there is a season for preparation. When God places a calling on your life, it is often fragile in its early stages. A seed does not sprout into a tree overnight. It needs time, protection, and the right conditions to grow. If you expose it too early, if you allow too many voices to speak into it, that seed can be crushed before it ever takes root. You must learn to guard the vision, to nurture it in prayer, to let God work in you before you seek validation from others. Sometimes God gives you a vision that even you do not fully understand. There are moments when his plans seem too big, too impossible, too far beyond what you can comprehend. And in those moments, the last thing you need is someone speaking words of doubt over your life. The enemy will use people, sometimes even those closest to you, to make you question what God has spoken. He will use their skepticism, their fears, their limited understanding to make you hesitate, to make you second guess, to make you feel unworthy of the calling God has placed on you. But let me tell you this, if God has spoken it, it will come to pass. His word does not return void. What he has started in you, he will finish. But you must trust his timing. You must allow him to bring it to completion in his way, not yours. So, my friends, if God has given you a vision, guard it. Do not be in a hurry to announce it to the world. Do not seek validation from those who do not walk in faith. Instead, take it to God in prayer. Ask him to strengthen you, to prepare you, to equip you for what is ahead. And when the time is right, when he has laid the foundation, he will reveal it in such a way that no one will be able to deny his hand upon your life. Every believer faces struggles, temptations, and battles that are often hidden from the eyes of others. These struggles are part of our journey, part of the refining process that God allows us to go through. But one of the biggest mistakes we can make is exposing our weaknesses to the wrong people. People who do not understand, who do not walk with God, who do not have the wisdom to guide us in truth. When you share your struggles carelessly, you risk opening doors that should remain closed, inviting judgment, discouragement, and even manipulation into your life. The enemy is always looking for ways to use our weaknesses against us. He knows that if he can get inside our minds, if he can plant doubt and fear, he can hinder our walk with God. And one of the easiest ways he does that is by using people. People who pretend to care. People who act like they want to help, but in reality only seek to tear you down. That is why you must be careful. Not everyone who listens to you has your best interests at heart. Not everyone who hears your struggles will respond with love and wisdom. Some will gossip. Some will judge. Some will use what you share against you. Look at Samson. He was chosen by God, set apart from birth, given great strength to fulfill God's purpose. But Samson had a weakness, his desire for women who did not follow God's ways. And when he met Delilah, he made the fatal mistake of revealing his weakness to her. He thought he could trust her. He believed she cared for him. But in reality, she was working against him, looking for a way to bring him down. And when she finally got him to confess the secret of his strength, she used it to betray him. Samson was captured, blinded, and humiliated, all because he revealed his struggle to the wrong person. How many times have we done the same? How many times have we opened up to someone only to regret it later? How many times have we trusted the wrong person with our struggles only to have them use it against us? This is why we must learn to take our battles to God first. He is the only one who truly understands. He is the only one who will never betray us, never judge us unfairly, never use our weaknesses against us. Even David, a man after God's own heart, understood this. He faced countless struggles, temptations, failures, enemies who sought to destroy him. But time and time again, instead of running to people, David ran to God. He poured out his heart in prayer. He cried out to the Lord in his darkest moments. And because of that, God strengthened him, restored him, and lifted him up. When you face struggles, be wise about who you turn to. Yes, God sometimes places people in our lives who can offer guidance and support. But those people must be chosen carefully. They must be people who walk in faith, who seek God's wisdom, who will pray for you rather than gossip about you. Not everyone deserves access to your struggles. Some things are meant to be dealt with in the secret place between you and God alone. We live in a world that encourages people to share everything. Social media has made it easy to expose our thoughts, emotions, and battles to the public. But this is dangerous. When you share your struggles openly, you invite opinions from people who do not have the spiritual wisdom to guide you. You allow voices that may not align with God's truth to influence your decisions. And often, instead of finding help, you find more confusion, more doubt, more fear. Jesus himself demonstrated this principle. There were moments when he withdrew from the crowds, moments when he spent time alone with the Father. Even in his darkest hour in the Garden of Gethsemane, he chose to pray in solitude rather than seek comfort from others. He knew that true strength, true peace, true guidance could only come from the Father. So, my friends, if you are struggling, take it to God first. Let him be your refuge, your counselor, your source of strength. If he leads you to share with someone, make sure it is someone who walks in wisdom, someone who will speak life into you, not drain you. But above all, remember this. Your struggles do not define you. God is working in you, shaping you, refining you. And if you trust him, if you seek him, he will bring you through every battle, stronger and closer to him than ever before. When you do good, when you give, when you serve others, do it in secret. Do not seek the approval of men. Do not look for recognition. And do not announce your good deeds for the world to see. For in the kingdom of God, the greatest rewards are not given by men, but by the Father who sees what is done in secret. Jesus himself taught us this principle. He said, when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Why did Jesus emphasize secrecy and good deeds? Because he knew the heart of man. He knew that when people seek recognition for their good works, they are no longer doing it for God, but for their own glory. And he warned that those who seek the praise of men have already received their reward in full. Look around today, and you will see a culture that thrives on public approval. Social media is filled with people broadcasting their acts of charity, posting their generosity for likes, comments, and applause. But Jesus calls us to something higher. He calls us to give, to serve, to love. Not for human praise, but out of obedience and love for God. True generosity is not about being seen. It is about reflecting the heart of God. Think about the Pharisees in Jesus' time. They loved to show off their acts of righteousness. They would pray loudly in the streets, give publicly so that others could see, and fast in ways that made sure everyone knew of their sacrifice. But Jesus rebuked them. He called them hypocrites because their hearts were not truly devoted to God. They were more concerned with their reputation than with their relationship with him. Their deeds were empty because they sought the wrong reward. True service to God is not about impressing others. It is about walking in humility. It is about giving without expecting anything in return. It is about loving without needing recognition. When you serve someone, when you give to someone in need, let it be between you and God. Let your reward come from him, not from people. Consider the widow who gave her last 2 coins in the temple. While the rich were giving large amounts publicly, Jesus noticed this poor widow quietly offering everything she had. No one else paid attention to her, but Jesus did. He said that she had given more than all the others because she gave from her heart, in faith, in sacrifice. She did not give to be seen. She gave because she trusted God. And though the world may not have honored her, God did. When you give in secret, when you do good without announcing it, you show that your heart is truly set on pleasing God. And when God sees that kind of heart, he blesses it. He rewards it in ways far greater than human recognition. Think about the times when Jesus performed miracles and told people not to speak of them. He healed the sick, raised the dead, opened blind eyes, but he often instructed those he helped to keep it quiet. Why? Because he was not seeking fame. He was fulfilling the will of the Father. His mission was not to draw attention to himself, but to point people to God. That is the example we should follow. Our good works should not be a performance. They should not be done to prove something to others. They should flow naturally from a heart that loves God. And when we operate in that spirit, our reward is secure. Not in the temporary applause of this world, but in the eternal blessings of heaven. God is watching. He sees every act of kindness, every moment of generosity, every sacrifice made in secret, and he does not forget. While the world may overlook it, while people may never acknowledge it, God will. And when he rewards, his reward is beyond anything this world can offer. So, my friends, the next time you have an opportunity to give, to serve, to love, do it in secret. Resist the temptation to seek recognition. Let your actions be an offering to God alone, for in the end it is not the applause of men that matters, but the approval of the one who sees all things. Do not reveal your plans too soon. When God places a vision in your heart, when he gives you a purpose, a mission, a calling, you must walk in wisdom. There is a time to speak and a time to be silent. There is a time to act and a time to wait. Many great plans have been destroyed not by failure, but by being exposed too early. The enemy is always watching, looking for an opportunity to stop what God is doing in your life. And one of the easiest ways he does that is by using the words you speak against you. Nehemiah understood this principle well. God placed a burden on his heart to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. But Nehemiah did not rush to tell everyone. He did not gather a crowd and announce what he was about to do. Instead, he prayed. He waited. He took time to assess the situation in secret. The Bible says that when he arrived in Jerusalem, he went out at night to inspect the broken walls. And he told no one what God had put in his heart to do. Why? Because he knew that not everyone would support him. He knew that there would be opposition. And when the time was right, when everything was in place, he revealed the plan. But only to those who needed to know. Because of his wisdom, he was able to complete the work despite the opposition that arose. Too often, we make the mistake of speaking before the right time. We get excited about what God is doing in our lives, and we share our plans with people who are not ready to hear them. But not everyone will celebrate your vision. Some will doubt you. Some will discourage you. Some will even try to stop you. And when opposition comes too early, it can shake your faith, making you question whether you really heard from God at all. Joseph learned this lesson the hard way. God gave him a dream of greatness, a vision of his future, but when he shared it with his brothers, instead of rejoicing, they hated him for it. They were filled with jealousy. They plotted against him, threw him into a pit, and sold him into slavery. Joseph's dream was from God, and it did come to pass, but the journey was filled with suffering because he revealed it too soon. You must be careful with your words. When God places something in your heart, protect it. Let it grow in secret. Water it with prayer. Let it take root before exposing it to the world. A seed does not sprout into a tree overnight. It needs time, protection, the right conditions to grow strong. If you expose it too early, it may not survive. Even Jesus understood this. There were moments when he instructed people not to reveal who he was. He performed miracles and told those he healed to remain silent about it. Why? Because there was a divine order, a perfect timing for everything. He knew that if things were revealed too soon, it could interfere with the greater plan of God. And if Jesus, the Son of God, walked in that kind of wisdom, how much more should we? Many people fail, not because their vision was wrong, but because they exposed it at the wrong time. They shared their plans with the wrong people. They sought approval from those who did not have the faith to believe. They allowed fear and doubt from others to take root in their hearts. And as a result, they abandoned the very thing God had called them to do. So what should you do? First, pray. Seek God's guidance before sharing your plans with anyone. Let him direct your steps. Second, be selective. Not everyone needs to know what God is doing in your life. Share only with those who are spiritually mature, those who will encourage you, those who will stand in faith with you. And third, wait for God's timing. Do not rush ahead. Let God establish your steps. The enemy cannot destroy what he does not know. When you move in silence, when you allow God to work behind the scenes, when you protect what he has placed in your heart, you give no place for the enemy to interfere. And when the time is right, when God has prepared the way, he will reveal his plan in such a way that no one will be able to stop it. Trust the process. Trust God's timing. Trust that what He has spoken over your life will come to pass. But until then, keep it between you and Him. Let Him do the work in secret, and in due time He will bring it into the light. God has chosen you for a purpose, and with that calling comes responsibility. There are things you must guard, things you must keep between you and Him, things that should not be exposed before the right time. Your vision, your struggles, your acts of kindness, and your plans. These are sacred matters that must be handled with wisdom. The enemy is always looking for a way to derail God's work in your life. Sometimes the greatest attacks come not from outside forces, but from the words we speak too soon, the trust we place in the wrong people, and the desire for validation from the world. But when you walk in discernment, when you seek God first, when you allow Him to guide your steps, no opposition can stand against what He has ordained. Remember, God rewards those who trust Him in secret. What He begins in silence, He will reveal in glory. Be patient, be faithful, move in wisdom, and in His perfect timing, everything He has promised will come to pass in a way that no one can deny. Let your faith be in Him alone, for He is the author and the finisher of your destiny.